video. So, a lot of people, as you know, the car industry is just getting more and more expensive. EVs are taking over. Everything's just so expensive. If you want a modern day fun little nugget, it's very hard to find one. So, I'm going to show you how to have some cheap, fun, reliable, and useful fun. How to buy a fun car, right? Now, you are not going to get a sports car on this list. As you know, they're very expensive unless it's a Scion or some sort of Subaru. Now, the reason why I choose these little nuggets to be fun is because they have the horsepower numbers of like a Corolla, right? But they're so little, tiny, and light that they're so fun to drive. You know, some of these feel a little sluggish, but because they're so light, if you tune them, if you turbo anything, makes them so fast. You know, like this, one of these has the same horsepower number of a Camry from 2007, and these things are just so impossibly light. They're just perfect, right? Because they're so light, that makes them fun to drive, just because they're so little, light, airy, and fun. They're light on their feet, you know what I mean? You're not going to get that same sluggish Corolla or sluggish Camry vibe, you know, that sedan vibe, because they're just fun little nuggets that you can whip around. And the reason why I chose nuggets rather than a sports car, you can fit 4 people in them, not very comfortable, granted, and you can fit crap in the back. Perfect. Perfect to blow smoke on the roads. Perfect. So, I'm trying to leave it under $5,000 for the used ones. I have one new one that I want to show you. So, this one's front-wheel drive, gets amazing gas mileage. That's another perk. This one only has 7,000 miles, which is great. Inline 3 gas engine, not bad at all. So, this is the first nugget on the list. Now, you'll notice it does have fog lights. It's a nice, sporty, little fun car. You can see it has that nice, kind of aggressive Mitsubishi styling without being too overwhelming, right? And it's purple. It's fun. It's a nugget. It's got this interesting Mirage back to it, you know, very nice. It's actually a pretty safe car for being very small, even though this is one of the most deadliest cars in the world, just because a lot of people bought them. That's guaranteed to happen, but they are a little bit small, so I wouldn't drive erratically if you drive one of these. I mean, they're fun, they're small, they're light, but in an accident, they're terrifying. So, essentially, again, I would never recommend a not safe car. All of these are perfectly modern safe cars with airbags, seatbelts, everything, right? I'm just saying, don't pick fights with pickup trucks and or semis. I'm just leaving you with that advice. So, the Mitsubishi, it's fun, it's light, it's under $5,000, right? A lot of people are just saying, frick the car industry, I just want something light, cheap, fun to haul my crap. This car is perfect. It's just a perfect car. It shows you what miles you're going. It has a perfect little radio. You can swap that out if you need. A rear bench seat. Now, look, you also have storage in there. That doesn't look like a lot, but because it's so boxed off and square, you can actually fit a decent amount in there, especially when you fold down the third row. It's just an amazing car, and for under $5,000 with 70,000 miles, that's not bad at all. So this is like the nugget, right? It's light, it's cheap, it's affordable, and it's fun to drive. The next one on this list is the Honda Fit. Now, you usually wouldn't expect these to be fun. They're mom vans, right? They're essentially a mini van, right? But these actually have pretty decent engines in them, and they actually go pretty decently fast. Now, this isn't what I would call sporty or fun to drive. This is more on the economical side of the spectrum, this cheap, light, fun car scenario, right? But look, it has a comfortable interior. You can store plenty of stuff in it, and it doesn't feel as sluggish as its counterparts, right? It's very easy to drive. It's just a nice, one of those good old-fashioned, nice, light, fun cars. It's essentially a car from the 90s that made it a while. You can see they're very reliable. I'd give it another 100,000 miles, at least. Hondas from the thousands were very weird, but very reliable. And especially with it being a Fit, you can surprisingly fit a lot of crap in there. I mean, it's very spacious, and because it's so boxy, I've always praised the boxy cars, because if you have like one of the Eclipse Crosses from Mitsubishi, it's so stylish and swoopy, you can't fit anything in there. But if it's just good old and boxy, you can fit boxes in it. I mean, it's just easier, right? Now, this is the 2007 for $3,000. This is if you want something cheap, you know, just something cheap to get you to work, get you home, fit stuff if you need it, and it's not sluggish. If you want something slightly nicer, this is a 2009 variant. Now, it does have that weird Honda interior, but it does look a little bit more modern. It has the inside rims, of course. And again, it's just a fun car to drive. It's light on its feet. It's nice. It's just a good, nice, light daily driver. They're also extremely cheap for being extremely reliable cars. This one only has 245,000 miles. You can see these cars will keep getting it. You probably have another 50,000 miles out of this car. Great. I mean, the Hondas were just phenomenal during this area. So the Honda Fits, they can fit stuff in them. This is more the, still fun to drive, but also your passengers won't be, climbing on each other like they would be in the Mirage. Still fun, also still incredibly reliable. I mean, it's a Honda after all. Now, if you want pure Nugget, this is throwing reliability, everything. You just want something that's fun to drive, Nugget. It has this dopey, weird face. You can see 2-door, rear seats. You're never going to use them. Just leave them folded down. If you're going to have 5 people, just say, how about we take your car? You will not want to subject your friends to this. They will not be your friends if they climb in this thing. Or, hey, maybe they still will. Maybe they like that. Maybe they're into that. Maybe it's a fetish. I'm not going to get into that. But you can see, nice, light, fun. It doesn't even have a handle. It just has a little perch-like thing. That's how light the door is. That's how light everything is. It's still functional. If you want to have another passenger in here, it's pretty fun. I will say this is on the very unsafe spectrum of the cars. It was small and light compared to cars when it was new. If you get in an accident with a Grand Wagoneer, that's going to be bad for you. That's all I'm saying. It's a very nice, cheap, reliable, fun car. A lot of people buy them, and they're extremely reliable. They never give up. They never die. This one's only for $3,000 with 154,000 miles. That's not bad at all. Again, tuning. You can make these so sporty just based on what they already have, because they're just so fun. They're fun, light, nice cars. Now, it does have an interesting, engine, just front-wheel drive, of course, 34 to 36 miles per gallon, still amazing gasoline, manual transmission. That's right, a lot of these are going to be manual transmissions, and this nice, fun light, they call it light charcoal. If you like gray, you'll like this. If you like blue, you'll like this. This is what I would call more of a denim. Not bad at all. Now, if you want something more modern, right, this is more like the all-out Nugget. This is more of the, I love how they use that template, but then they did not at all put their logo in. Great. So, we can just see it here. It's nice, it's sporty, it's fun. You can fit people in the back, and you can still fit stuff in the trunk. This is bigger, it's still fun to drive. It still has all the characteristics of that earlier Nugget, just you can actually use it as a car. I mean, daily driver, they make great daily drivers. The AC blows cold. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine cars. They're reliable, they last forever, you can fit people in them. This is what a Nugget is. What a fast, fun, light, sporty car is. And for under $5,000 with 160,000 miles, that's not bad at all. Now, yes, it may have manual crank windows. If you get a nicer version, it will definitely not. But for a 2012 car, $4,000 is not bad at all. Now, this is the next car. I'm kind of out on a limb here. The jury's out on this one. This is a car that I personally think that is fun to drive and is light. A lot of people don't agree with me, surprisingly. The Suzuki SX4. Now, this is fun because it has all-wheel drive. It also has a manual transmission. A manual transition inline 4 with all-wheel drive. You can see where I'm getting at here. It's a very, very fun car. Now, again, it feels a little bit sluggish. This is more in your Corolla territory, less in the small little fun, compact Mirage way, right? It's getting into the Corolla territory, right? But it's still fun. Inline 4, manual transmission, all-wheel drive. Yeah, that's fun. That's very fun. We can see it here. It's just a cute little car, right? It's easy to drive. It's fun. It's easily moddable. The interior is great. I mean, it's not to die for or anything, but, if your child kicks the dashboard, the airbag's not going to go off in their face. What more could you ask for? They're very reliable, cheap, good cars. And there's not much else to say about that, They're fun to drive. They're interesting to look at. And it's just a good car. There's not much I can really say about this other than it's cheap, fun, light, reliable. And you get loads of space compared to the other cars. This is even more than the Fit. This is just a big car. It's a big car that feels light on its feet. It also has amazing wheels. I always thought the Suzuki wheels were always very good. Unless you got some of the topper trim levels, I always like these more. You can just see fun. And especially with all-wheel drive, it's kind of like your own Celica All-Track. Now you've got your transmission over there, your heated seats, that's right, and then your manual pull, your parking brake over there. Just a fun, light, nice car. And again, for under $12,000 for a 2012, that's how much it should cost. For under $5,000 for a 2012 car, that's great. 121, I expect another 100,000 miles out of this car. They're just fun. They're great to drive. They're very interesting. Now, the last one on this list is a car that it's from a very I'm going to see if you can guess it. it's very much forgotten as a fun, light, nice car because it was overshadowed by another light car from the same car company, made in the 90s. The Mazda 2. Now, again, this is 2014. It's $300 over budget. It's fine, right? It's got 132,000 miles. I'll expect another 50,000 out of this. Mazdas are still reliable, especially during this era. That's just how much I estimate it being a cheaper engine, being built a little bit cheaper than the other ones. This is a 2014 Mazda 2 Sport. There's not a lot of sport in it, but it's still fun, right? 28 to 34 mpg. That's not the best we've seen, but it's still great. Front wheel drive. Just overall a good car, you know? Just a good car, you know? I mean, it's reliable, it's cheap, and it's fun. Now, a lot of times you'll see the prices going up. These prices are actually going down because no one remembers them. You know, this is like Terry, who works at the gas station, owns this, and you ever questioned him about it. It's just a fun little light car. You can see it's an egg, right? You've got reduced space in the back, but more passenger room. And you can always fold down the rear seats if you need more, right? It's fun, light. The interior reeks of Mazda. Mazda went through kind of their own retro era, except it was uglier than Honda's. Honda's interiors made sense. This doesn't. The gear shift is up there, and this is down there, which is weird. There's no armrest. You know, just Mazda had a very weird interior design style going on with the circles. I didn't really understand it. They're great interiors. They're resilient. They're just hideous, in my opinion, right? Again, a fun, good, light sports car, right? So let's review kind of the options you have here. The Mitsubishi Mirage. It's fun. It's light. It's one of the most fun cars here. The Honda Fit. The newer one is if you want like an actual decent to drive car. The older one is if you want something still a very good, decent car. It's one of the bigger cars on this list, but it's also still fun to drive. The Yaris is the one of the lightest. It feels like the lightest, may not actually be the lightest. I believe it's the lightest, and it's one of the most fun cars to drive here. The Yaris is like, if you want still a smaller car, a little bit cheaper than the Honda, I mean, a little bit more expensive than the Honda, if you want like that new car. Again, 2012, it's 12 years old. I'm not saying it's a new car, I'm saying it feels more, it's designed more like a new car, right? The Suzuki SX4 is just so weird and fun. It's all-wheel drive, it's got an inline-4, and it's a manual. Fun. Those specs are fun. Now, a lot of times cars are like this, and they seem fun. You get in them, they're just boring. This car is not boring to drive in anyway. And then, of course, you've got the Mazda 2 Sport. Sport, just a fun car. Now, you may think that you can't buy a new car, but again, in this car, if you're watching this video and you're wanting something cheap, light, and fun, you probably are thinking that all of these cars are old, right? And you won't buy them; they're not reliable enough. Well, there's one of these cars that's still being made today. Most of them are. But it's the Mirage. It has not lost. By the way, she used to be in the office. Now she's doing ads for Mitsubishi. I find that hilarious. Anywho, the Mitsubishi Mirage, wow, their website stinks. The Mitsubishi Mirage is still fun. It's still light. It still has that passenger volume. It still has all the pros of the old model, just for $16,000. If you can get a brand new car if you add another 10 grand on there. Now, personally, this car is so nice, you won't even care. I would personally get the ES, the LE. Okay, you know me and for lug nut cars. Some of these cars, if it's light like the Mazda, it deserves it, right? I believe the Yaris, yes, 4 lug nuts, that's acceptable. The Honda Fit should have got 5. That's just my personal opinion because it's heavier. These are deserving of 4 lug nuts. I still think they look ugly. I would personally get the ES CVT just to get the hubcaps to cover the ugly wheel covers. I think the LE wheels are hideous. I think the BE wheels are hideous. I think the SE is even more hideous because it draws even more attention to the 4 lug nuts. The Rally Rat is a bad Rally Art. Wow. So it's just this one, but with Rally Art on it. Yeah, no. I would just get the ES. You're not losing out on a lot. It's not going to be a great car. You understand. Compared to a Rolls-Royce, it's still going to be cheap no matter what trim level you get. So, and also fun cars. You can still get the sand yellow, right? You can still get that weird, like, purpley thing that you had on the old one. It's still a fun car. I personally would get the yellow. And then, of course, your black fabric seating. It has a screen. It has everything you need. Just fun, right? Just a fun, cheap, light car. This one's going for 17 grand. Not bad at all. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I figured, with a looming recession, people just want to have fun, light, cheap transport. This is a great example. All of these are.